Okay, so recently it seems like some people over on Reddit have been talking about, Silvervale and some of the things that she's been offering. Now, we've talked about this before. This has been something that some people have talked about. I don't know if this is the same person or the same user that is going after this stuff, or if it's a different one, because, yeah, this is the second time it's happened, and it all kind of pertains to her, blue website, right? And you guys know what I mean by that. Obviously, she posts a lot of content to there, yeah, some people, buy it. They subscribe to it and they get a ton of stuff. I don't think she does anything, personal on there. I think it's all like art and like, kind of videos and things like that, right? But again, essentially, yeah, she has one of those, and people have been talking about the pricing once again. They say, nah, fancy VTubers are wild. What do you mean? Option 2, pay 24 monthly and then pay 9 extra to actually get access. So, yeah, essentially what they're talking about is the fact that there is a couple of different tiers whenever it comes to unlocking a video or something. And obviously it says here, yeah, unlock video. Choose one of 3 options to unlock this media. It says option 1, you can just subscribe to the tier below, which obviously is, yeah, just a tier thing, or subscribe to the tier below, which is another tier, which is slightly cheaper, and then you pay to unlock it. So I think that essentially how it works is you pay for a subscription, and then you have to pay on top of it for like certain videos, I think. But what it seems like to me is like this person was like I don't know, straight up like joking it, and just got angry at the fact that he had to pay. I'm gonna be real. This is what it seems like to me, at least. Like, that's what it seems like to me. Like they're like, ah, damn it, let me put this on Reddit. Like they're like, I don't know. I think it is pretty crazy, right, to be complaining this much about it. Well, to be honest, doing something like this is optional. You're not forced to do this. And this is the same conversation we had in the last video. It's the fact that, this is obviously a paid subscription thing. Now, you can say that maybe this is expensive, right? $40 a month. It is pretty crazy, right? Just for, art and things. But some people out there will pay for that, right? And obviously Silvervale can handle her own kind of, profits and things, right? And can understand how much she can get away with in terms of, letting people pay, right? And obviously if $40 was too much for some people, then the price wouldn't be this high in the first place, right? The price wouldn't be $40 if nobody was buying the $40. So it's clear that people are buying the $40, so there's no need to change it, right? And of course, yeah, maybe if, you don't want to pay for that, that's fine, right? And obviously, in the great words of my favorite streamer, Pokimane, if you're a broke boy, just say so, right? And of course, I think it is one of those things, right? There's plenty of art out there of Silvervale in terms of other websites that are free to look at and that aren't leaks, but I'm not saying to look at leaks, by the way. I'm saying like, VTuber artists make art of Silvervale that you can see for completely free. So, I mean, just go and do that. I mean, I think it's pretty easy, right? But obviously a lot of people were saying, this is what the unlock is, if you're curious. Obviously it's a video, and people said, son, as I thought this is a pea shooter cosplay for a second. I respect, honestly. He said, no wonder Cinder wanted to team up with her so badly at the start. She knows how to drain wallets, and I'm not going to say that one. Say there are way better VTubers who charge less. Those two are just popular for some reason. And obviously, yeah, people saying, give Melody a try, free VODs. And to be fair, obviously, I know this is supposed to be a little bit of a dig at Silvervale because they're like, there's people that are way better, but they're kind of right? In the sense that if you don't want to pay that much money for Silvervale stuff, just go watch someone else. Right? I think it's that easy, right? They're saying, give Melody a try, free VODs, right? Go do that, right? If I think it is pretty crazy, right? I think honestly, for the blue website, that is kind of insane. She could have easily gated that at like $5 and nobody would bat an eye. Said I think she went in there in the first place because the blank kind of screwed her over for no reason, no pun intended. So she wanted to keep it free, like it was that. Said I think OF did it as well. And that was a real one. I said at least that was more overall stupidity from OF than something directed at Melody. Still bad that she had to deal with it. So yeah, obviously that was all of this kind of stuff going on. And obviously, yeah, apparently they banned her. Well, they didn't let her upload things because she didn't look a certain way. Said, yeah, that monetization game is next level. Who said, lol, of course it's Silvervale. Then I looked at Megalodon's yesterday. Hers is insane too. Genuine shocks, sticker shock. $80 for DMs, Lamau. Insane how desperate can be a person be. Now, again, I can 100% see why people are saying this, right? You got to be desperate to spend $80 on a DM. I agree, right? I think that $80 for a DM you know, that's not worth it for me personally. But obviously, you know, there's plenty of people out there who'd be willing to pay for it. And as I said, you know, the price is that price for a reason. They're not doing it because it's not getting any sales at all, and they're hoping that one person might just, you know, click on it. It's clearly $80 because people are willing to spend $80, and they've had proof that people are spending $80. So why change it, right? If people are spending this amount of money on DMs, then why change it? And again, you know, maybe, you know, they're not going to change it because some Reddit thread says, I don't like it, right? You know, they're making money. They're making a huge bag from this, right? So of course they're not going to change it. Of course they're going to keep it the same, which I do think is something that maybe people don't understand. But you're saying, yeah, any of the top creators basically charge whatever, and you are lucky to get one that doesn't. Silver is pretty bad though, even at the top. There are some smaller creators where $5 will actually get you something, but even there, it is 50-50 on if you are actually, if you are the one actually getting screwed. Said Raikukan is the GOAT, charging only $3 for 4 dojins, which again, obviously, yeah, I mean, some people have better prices, right? And that's always going to happen, right? They say, yeah, some are more reasonable. I know a couple of people who charge $5 to $10. They give you quite a bit to access. Spite is the most egregious, in my opinion. So, yeah, they're talking about other kind of, you know, people that do these kind of things, right? Other kind of VTubers and stuff that also kind of take out this, you know, do this kind of content, right? And have a pretty high price. But, like, I'm going to be real, right? I think it is one of these things that it just happens, right? You can complain about it all you want, but it's clear that it's working for them, else they wouldn't have a site like this, right? They wouldn't continue to make content on the site like this if they weren't getting sales from the prices that they put up. And they're saying, I don't think there's anything unethical about the content creation, but Silvervale's business model seems alarming to me. I remember seeing a screenshot of our Patreon tiers, and the top tier was for some reason an incredibly parasocial arrangement, which obviously I feel like this is the one that they were bringing up here. Which again, you know, $150. So thank you so much for the support. You know, priority in VR chat meetups, my undying love and affection, you know, and again, you know, it's fine, right? I don't think meeting in VR chat's really the craziest of things, right? But again, you know, sure, that can, you know, that can introduce parasocial behavior and whatever, right? Of course, you know, I think that is 100% parasocial, but like, you know, she's charging money for it. She can do what she wants. She knows what she's getting into whenever it comes to interacting with fans in certain ways. She's not stupid, right? And I think it is one of those things, right? These VTubers are not stupid. These VTubers know what they are doing. Now, of course, maybe you know, of course, you know, you think that it's kind of like expensive or whatever. You think that, you know, it's too much to pay for that kind of stuff. Sure. But as I was saying, these VTubers aren't stupid. They know that people are paying for it currently, and that if they drop it down just because someone else doesn't like the fact that it's so high, well, they're going to end up losing more money, right? So I think keeping the prices higher and having a smaller audience base, one, limits their work, right? Like kind of reduces their work, sorry, because they don't have to kind of produce content for other people, especially like the DMs and stuff, because of course, you know, I know a lot of people hire people to do it for them, but I feel like if you're paying $80, it might actually be them, you know, just a guess. But of course, you know, for stuff like DMs, right, if you keep the price high, there's only going to be a couple people that you have to DM while also getting the same amount of money, instead of having it for like $20 and having like, you know, 50 people to DM instead, and still getting the same amount of money. You get what I mean? So again, it is one of these things where, you know, it's completely up to them. It's a business decision on their hand. And, you know, if it's working for them, it's working for them, right? And if you don't like it, go and watch someone else, right? I think it is like one of these cases. Go watch someone else, because, again, me personally, I've never paid for any site like this, you know, like for Fansly, OF, or whatever, because I think it's stupid, right? There's tons of free stuff out there, right, that you can go and look at instead of, you know, this, right? You don't have to. Now, obviously, some people like to. Some people like to support the creator or whatever, and if you want to do that, go ahead. But, like, I think it's one of those things where it's like, you know, no one's forcing you to pay for this, so don't, you know? So, again, you know, maybe, you know, people are complaining because they want it to change or whatever. I don't know, but I don't think it ever will, because as I said, these people aren't stupid. They know what they're doing, they know how much money they're making, and they know that they can make more money this way than rather than, you know, putting out $5 subscriptions, which obviously might end up with the same amount of money. But you know, because it's one of those things as well, not even just with the workload, right? If you were to open it up to like $5, right, you know, you got 5 people paying 40 quid or $40, sorry, my British just came out there, $40 coming out, right? You know, they're paying $40. 5 people are paying $40, right? Which obviously will, let me do quick math. Hold up. 40, 80, 160, what? $200, right? You get $200 from that. And of course, $200 from 5 people versus obviously selling it for $5, right? And you have like a ton more people, like 10 people, right? Even if you got 5 more people for reducing the price down to $5, you're still not making the money back. You have to have like an absurd amount of people that are, paying a small amount of price to even get close to the amount you are making with just the 5 people paying 40, right? So I think it is one of those things where you got to weigh up your options a little bit in terms of how much money you're making and how much you could potentially make. I do think it's more of a business decision rather than a wanting to screw people over type thing. But again, obviously some people are not happy with it. But again, I think she can do what she wants. She's free to do what she wants. And obviously, as I said, you don't have to pay for it. You don't have to interact with it whatsoever. So don't worry about it, right? But yeah, that's essentially all I got for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameStop, use my code Kazza, get 10% off. Again, they've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. So, see ya.